What is up, you awesome kisters? It's CistReactZ guys. Today we're reacting to Game Theory FNAF, the secret Afton killer. So make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe to the Game Theory, and comment down below. I don't know. When is it gonna be their last FNAF theory, man? When is it? Why is this 5 seconds in?
FNAF's main villain has been keeping a secret from us since the beginning, and none of us caught it. Now Scott has released Into the Pit for a third time to try and get us to
A third time is crazy. But it's cool that it's an interactive novel, though.
In the shadows that explains everything.
I love how their intros always just be like hitting, bro. Their intros hit. For the situation. Oh god, Scott PNG.
Yeah, if you haven't already heard, we've gotten the second main entry in Scott's interactive novel trilogy. It's called Return to the Pit, and if you're a fan,
I still gotta read those. I'm slacking, man.
In 2019, we had the
Slacking.
story.
Let me know if y'all actually want me to do like the interactive novels for a video or something like that. I think those would be like a type of unique gameplay video.
Then last year we had Into the Pit, the game, and now Scott is returning to what is clearly his favorite story.
That voice crack was wild, but I'm not gonna mention it. I'm gonna mention it again.
Scott telling us the same
Coffin.
over and over again. Scott changing that story
What?
slightly each time.
Oh my
For both
god.
The original story and the game, the missing children's incident was shown to involve 6 kids rather than the typical 5 that we've been told about in the games, which in and of
Okay.
itself caused lots of disagreements within the fan base. But now in this new book, do you want to guess how many kids there are?
10.
It's changed back to 5.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Is this to line it up more with the games? Does that mean that this version is canon, but the original Fazbear Frights isn't?
Like, this is after I watched the Hyperdroid video that I'm sure I just uploaded before you guys see this. But like, bro, again, unless I'm going crazy and I may just have it wrong in my head, why are we only worried about those 5 kids? Like, the ones that possess the normal OG Freddy, Chica, Bonnie, Puppet, Golden Freddy. Well, that's probably 6 of them. I'm not really thinking right now. But like, why are we thinking about the OG crew when Afton's probably killed / captured so many of them? Like, I'm so confused. Like, did he kill just the original 5 and then they just went to go possess the other suits? Or did he kill like 12, 14, 32 and everybody just has a suit for their soul? I'm so confused with that.
I mean, I'm thankful you didn't change it to something crazy like 7, but
Like, I just don't know.
That being said, this version of the
At this point, one of them is in the Mimic too.
does allow for some interesting theorizing. Something I didn't talk about in our week before theory was how
Probably not, though.
choose your own adventure can work in terms of canonicity. With each of these stories, while there are multiple endings, there is only one canon ending. However, that doesn't mean that the other endings can't be used to help solve the lore. In the week before, we
Interesting.
know that phone guy Ralph has to die on night 4. But that doesn't mean that an
Just
item
like the game,
found in
right?
a drawer in a non-canon route can't be used as evidence.
Why
The item
pickles?
still exists in that drawer in the world. It is canonically there. It's just that canonically, Ralph never discovers it. Return to the Pit is working on that same principle. The canon ending is Oswald defeats the Yellow Rabbit and saves his dad, like he does in the original story. But there are a number of alternate paths that don't go that way that we can still learn from. Remember, this is the 3rd time we are going through this story. Clearly, there is something that we've been missing that Scott is trying to draw our attention to. And while I was reading one of the alternate endings, something hit me round the face like a yellow rabbit in 1985. This one ending doesn't
More like the
just add
chest.
another log to the is it canon fire. It set off a chain of dominoes that completely changed my outlook on the franchise. It seems crazy, but if you'll stick with me, I promise you,
It's always crazy, but let's see it.
How this book affects the timeline, Fazbear's Full Fest origins, and one of the most confusing yet most important villains
The
in the
Mimic!
franchise. No, I'm not
Wait.
talking about Afton, and it's not the Mimic.
Oh.
Get your arcade tokens ready.
I was scared for a second because I just mentioned that the Mimic might be possessed as a joke, but I'm pretty sure the whole ghost story thing is done for FNAF. It's like man versus machine now, but that scared me.
We've got a prize waiting for us to collect. Lore. Before we get too into the details, in case you somehow missed the last 5 years of this story existing, Into the Pit is about a kid named Oswald. During his summer break, his dad drops him off at a local pizzeria called Jeff's Pizza. While there, he discovers a ball pit that has strange powers. It can take him back in time to 1980.
And apparently it ain't a time machine, it's like a remnant memory machine. It's so complicated. But I learned it. I remember it now.
Lures him into a back room and reveals to him a lineup of dead children. Oswald runs to the ball pit to escape and finds his dad on the other side, but the yellow rabbit follows him, pulling his dad.
Dragging him like that is crazy.
In Oswald's life, driving him home, sitting at his dining table, and sleeping in his bed. Oswald has to break out of his own house and return to the pit in order to find his dad, where he manages to trap the yellow rabbit and put an end to it. Now, in the original Fazbear Fright story, it was unclear what exactly was going on with this ball pit. Was it really using time travel?
Doctor Who? Oh shit. Doctor Who jump scare.
Agony being a powerful negative emotion that works kind of like Remnant, but not really. Listen, don't worry about it. It's really not that important because in this new telling of the story, as well as the game from last year, we're being shown that this ball pit is using physical time travel. In the game, Oswald is able to take objects from the future into the past and vice versa. And in
I give up.
Pit, Oswald meets a grown-up Chip, one of the kids he met in 1985, and Chip remembers him.
What?
So these retellings do seem to be showing us that it really is a time-traveling ball pit. And if that's the case, then there are a few other details that really begin to matter. Suddenly, anything Oswald witnesses in 1985 are real things present in 1985, even if they the canonical route. And with that in mind, one of the alternative paths becomes very interesting. In 1985, Oswald has the option to leave Freddy's. Once he steps outside, he hears a voice calling for help. If we follow the voice,
I would have
Oswald
left.
is led to a basement around the back of Freddy's.
I would have left.
He makes his way down the stairs and
a basement. What did he just say?
Oswald is led to a basement around the back of Freddy's.
Yeah, I would have left.
He makes his way down the stairs and is swiftly bonked over the head by the yellow rabbit.
God damn it.
On the floor in a pool of his own blood, beginning to lose consciousness, he hears the voice laughing at him. Now, you may be wondering why this particular ending stood out to me. Yeah, it's a bit creepy, but it's just another nowhere path that leads to Oswald's
Is he gonna say it's like a paradox or something?
The deal comes from when you read the description of the character this mysterious voice is coming
Never
from.
mind.
Quote, about 5 steps away, sitting in the shadow, you see a doll that resembles a little girl.
Oh,
She has
brother.
red hair,
Elizabeth.
and is wearing a red dress that matches her hair. Her
The
face,
second
legs,
menace.
and arms are bone white, and she has a blood red nose and crimson circles on her cheeks. Her entire appearance is unnerving. Immediately, I knew I needed to identify.
Why does her neck look like that?
Eleanor from other Fazbear Fright stories.
Give her a normal neck, bro.
Return to the Pit is a retelling of a fright story. She is described as looking like a dog with a clown-like face and red pigtails. This felt like an obvious match, but then when I went back and took a closer look at Eleanor's description, the more that connection felt less and less strong. Yes, she's got a clown-like face, but her cheeks are actually pink, not red, and her body is silver, not white. There's also how her body is described. Quote, its body was sleek and silver with a long neck, a tiny waist, and a rounded bust and hips. Its legs and arms were long, slender, and elegant. Yes, she is described as being doll-like, but that doll is more reflective of an adult woman with a rounded bust and hips and longer limbs. But the doll in Return to the Pit is described as looking like a little girl, as in not a fully grown woman.
Double huh?
Wasn't really fitting the bill for me. But while I scratched my head over this,
then who is it?
One other detail that pointed me in the right direction.
Oh, not a baby doll.
The sound of laughter beside you. High-pitched giggling.
It's a baby doll.
Look at the doll. She sits there, perfectly still, but the laughter gets louder and louder. As we discussed,
I hate those damn things.
This book is trying to align itself with the game canon. So, a red nose, red cheeks, red hair, a red dress, and a creepy childlike laugh can only match one character, Plush Baby. Now, if you're like me, you're probably sitting there thinking, what the heck is Plush Baby doing here? Her inclusion felt so
without a bullet in the head.
like an annoying ad that keeps asking for your data on every website you visit. Or like Santi as he follows me around the office.
Oh,
fortunately, today's
that guy caught a stray.
VPN can help me out with at least 2 of those.
Someone catches a stray, and then this just goes into a sponsorship. Well, you know what? Game Theory is really creative with the sponsorships. I'll give him that. But as per my policy with skipping other people's sponsorships, go check out the NordVPN Game Theory if the sponsorship aligns with what you like. You know, that's just a respect thing I do for people I react.
Asking this question for a long time. Plush Baby was first introduced back in
Oh man, I love Game Theory. Never change, y'all.
Even using the same lines as her, just higher pitched. Her level was, let's say,
Annoying as hell.
oh god.
I think that's the first time I ever talked to Dawko, because he had to help me on that stream. That I was struggling on that.
Fix their reputation while also promoting merchandise. So a plush version of
Ugh.
that people could then love. Or
The trauma,
that
the laughter, I can hear it.
makes a lot of sense. What didn't make a lot of sense is the fact she kept reappearing in games that didn't have that lore purpose. In Help Wanted 2, we're essentially a technician fixing all the attractions, but there Plush Baby is, making her way towards us to jump
Ugh.
us. In Security Breach Ruin, Cassie can find a secret room inside Bonnie Bowl that, when you take off the Vanny mask, reveals a room full of plush babies.
I remember that.
Laughing like they do, only to disappear when you turn your back. And you can also
I don't remember that.
AR versions of the plushie, with Cassie's only comment being, "What is she doing here?" Not only has Scott been including her in all the Steel Wool era FNAF games, but he is specifically calling out that her presence is weird. And now she's being shoved into Return to the Pit during 1985. What is Scott trying to tell us with this character? Well, take a look at Plush Baby's design compared to the character she's based on, Circus Baby. What
God.
difference do you notice?
The eyes, man.
One is a
Terrifying,
dog,
just
one is a
staring.
7-foot monster clown. The eyes. Plush Baby's eyes are blue, while Circus Baby's eyes are green.
The normal
Though
color.
longtime fans of the franchise will remember that this isn't a design error from Scott. Circus Baby's eyes were originally blue up until she
Dude, man, it's probably been because let me restart that sentence. I'm I'm tripping over it because I'm scared. It's probably because he hasn't made a game in such a long ass time, and it's always been Steel Wool. But like, dude, I keep forgetting how like good of a model designer he was for like these robots and how creepy he made them. Like the eyes are just staring into your dome.
Circus Baby's Pizza World shut down before it even opened.
I miss Scott,
When
man.
Baby scooped Elizabeth, Baby became possessed by Elizabeth, and as part of that, gained Elizabeth's
Well,
green
let me clarify that. I love Steel Wool, but I miss, you know, the old days where Scott would make the games and stuff.
So for
Those were
the
good
Plush
days, man.
Babies to have blue eyes, they have to have been based on the character prior to Elizabeth's scooping. Therefore, from a timeline perspective, for this toy to exist as it does in Return to the Pit, a blue-eyed Circus Baby needed to exist before 1985. We still don't have anything telling us exactly when her scooping happened prior to that date in 1985, whether it was before or after Dave the
Dude,
Grind
deja
Child
vu. I
was
literally
already
just
dead.
seen Hyperjoy
And
talk
as
about
for that,
this.
I'll take whatever timeline wins I can
Jesus.
get. Although that isn't the only thing this appearance teaches us. Because of Circus Baby's
It's weird too, because this is like the exact lineup that he had at the start of his video too. It's weird.
But hey, at this point with FNAF, I'll take whatever timeline wins I can get. Although that isn't the only thing this appearance teaches us. Because of Circus Baby's
Theorists think alike.
ambiguous placement in the FNAF timeline, there have
I did
been
not say
lots
Siri's
of
name.
theories about why Baby and the Fun Times were designed with claws in their stomachs and cavities large enough to hold a child inside of them. Obviously, it was to capture kids, but it's more about why Afton chose this method to capture them when the only thing we'd seen at that point was him stuffing the kids into suits himself. One option that has been theorized about is that the Funtime designs were made to capture kids in their stomachs because of the police sniffing around after the missing children's incident.
I mean, yeah, it's the perfect thing to hide him in.
Room himself like he used to, so he'd just have the animatronics do it for him. But in this
Shit's
vlog,
crazy,
we've
man.
shown that Plush Baby and therefore a pre-Elizabeth Baby were around before 1985, before the missing children's incident, which happened in Return to the Pit in 1985. That implies that Afton's use of Baby and the Fun Times was less responsive and more proactive. Like it was always the plan to have them assist him in capturing kids. Like he knew it was the smart approach to have help rather than doing it all himself. He wanted someone else to bring the kids to a secluded...
And I mean, could you? What the fuck was that edit? Sorry. You know, never mind, bro. It's just gonna be a yap fest. Jesus Christ.
An accomplice. And if you think about it, this idea is actually being reflected with Plush Baby's recent appearances. In Return to the Pit, Oswald is led to a mysterious back room by Plush Baby and is then killed by a yellow rabbit. It's not literally Afton, it's a monster version of Afton with hundreds of teeth. But then again, it's not literally Baby either. Instead, it's symbolic of the relationship these two characters had. Baby is once again helping to capture the kid, luring them to a place where Afton can finish them off. A similar thing happens in Ruin when we play as Cassie, another child. We're lured to a secret back room much like Oswald was, and inside are a bunch of giggling plush babies. Fortunately, this time, no rabbit came to kill us. And you know why? Because the one who is acting like Afton
A mimic!
is locked downstairs in the basement. We haven't released it yet. We can't even put on the Vanny mask in this room, because doing so would summon mixes, the thing that is working to keep the mimic trapped. Symbolically, we're being shown that Afton, or things that think they're Afton, don't work alone. Though it's not just symbolic.
Strange.
The more I thought about this, the more I realized that recent FNAF has been showing us Afton's need for an accomplice to pull off his plans. Just take a look at the FNAF movie. We've never actually talked about the FNAF movie on this channel before, mainly because Lee stole it from me.
Hey, you weren't using it.
Well, I am now, so I'll be taking this back, thank you.
Dude, you can't just...
Oh, look over there. I think Santi's trying to steal an anime episode from you.
Hey, come back here. No, you
Oh my
don't.
god, not the lightsaber.
FNAF movie. In that movie, we meet William Afton, played by Matthew Lillard. But a key twist of the movie is that while he got Mike the job at Freddy's, he had someone on the inside keeping an eye on him. In fact, the only reason Afton showed up at the end to try and kill Mike was because this person didn't do their job.
You had one job. One. Keep him in the dark.
That's 2 jobs.
Too close.
That's 2 jobs.
Like, she really thought she ate with that one. It only worked with Mike.
Afton's accomplice. Just
Only thing she ate was a knife after that.
that would be possessed by Afton's daughter.
Why didn't she, like, I don't know, like, run? You know, like, I don't know. I kind of would have hopped the table if my dad was coming at me with a knife. You know, like, and then, you know, made my joke and run. Like,
And represent her going
I don't know, go get some water and splash it on him with the spring lock suit on.
Look, I know this idea that Afton has always had an accomplice might sound like a bit of a stretch. It always seemed like Afton was the sole killer. And believe me, I get it. I've been going back and forth with Ash on this topic for weeks. Just look at this whiteboard.
Oh my
Does this sound
god.
like something sane people would write?
Fuck no.
Trust me, I really
Does
think
Baby
this
still
is
exist during
that
Fall
Afton always
Fest?
needed an accomplice, especially because it would really begin to explain why Vanessa was so important to Glitch Trap in the modern games. I always found it a bit weird that the Mimic 1 program acting like Afton, otherwise known as Glitch Trap, decided that he needed to brainwash someone in order to accomplish its goal.
Brainwashing.
It's a good concept, and we've always
More like brain
liked
scrubbing.
that cult of Afton idea, but it just felt a little out of the blue compared to other developments in the franchise. The only logical explanation we've had is that it needed a new body to be made because its main body was destroyed and locked away down in the FNAF 6 location. But if I'm right about what this book and all of these other games are showing us, then it is way
Does the eye color just change on that?
Put me back together plan. It was the mimic once again following in Afton's footsteps.
Might be tripping, man.
Its own accomplice. The other weird detail that we just couldn't quite answer was why did Vanessa look like grown-up Elizabeth? Blonde hair and green eyes. Unlike in the movie, she didn't appear to actually be Afton's daughter. The timelines didn't match up. But if the mimic was copying everything Afton did, from killing kids in the back room during VIP to literally wearing the bunny costume Afton used to wear, then it couldn't have just anyone be its accomplice. It needed to find one that matched Afton's previous accomplice, Circus Baby, i.e. Elizabeth. And here's the thing, for once, I don't think this is just another one of those clarifying details that we've talked about in previous episodes. When Scott clarifies small details, they tend to be very obvious and direct. But this relies much more on us connecting the dots and using symbolism. So much so that he's been shoving it in our faces for the past 5 years, and we're only
That shot goes so hard.
what it means. That
That Elizabeth and Baby shot, that was cool.
The modern era of FNAF has moved on physically from the days of Afton and Henry, there's still much more for us to learn about them and how they operated. And I believe it's going to affect where this franchise is going. And ironically, I think that ties together really nicely with the thing we've been theorizing about for a long time, Fall Fest. Fazbear's carnival origins from the 70s that we'll hopefully be getting to see more of in the new game, Secret of the Mimic. This is where a bunch of our previous theories all come together. In my very first FNAF theory, I briefly mentioned how Circus Baby has always been the oddball in terms of design aesthetic compared to all the other characters. But a circus like Fall Fest would allow her design to feel much more at home, especially now that we have designs like Jackie. In my Secret of the Mimic theory, I also theorized that
Jackie's gonna be horrifying.
of 1979 would be where we'd get to see one of Afton's earliest kills, maybe even his first. This was because of a quote used by Steel Wool's design director when the trailer for the game dropped, a line from Shakespeare's Julius Caesar that comes from a scene between Mark Antony and Brutus, where Brutus had killed Caesar, but Antony couldn't accuse him publicly. I believe this was reflecting Afton and Henry, with Afton being Brutus, Henry being Antony, and an innocent child filling the role of Caesar, because Caesar loved Brutus just like the kids loved Afton's yellow rabbit. I believe that much like Antony, Henry was unable to accuse Afton publicly despite knowing about it because it would lead to the downfall of his business. So by combining these two theories as well as what we've talked about today between Afton and Baby, we get a much clearer picture of what we can expect to learn about from Secret of the Mimic. Not only are we likely to learn about one of Afton's earliest kills, but we're going to see the true introduction of his accomplice that he's been using since the beginning, Baby. Someone that will distract parents and help Afton lure kids into a secret area and kill them. If I'm right, this would further explain why after the death of his son, his first instinct was to go back to Baby for his new venture. It was a return to form, back to the partner he could trust after his previous partner Henry betrayed him by making an animatronic that killed his son. The only thing I'm
Is that like
really
Glitch Trap's
about
eyes in
and what I'm
Fredbear?
most excited to see is who this accomplice actually was. As I've mentioned in previous theories, Fall Fest wasn't the era of animatronics, but costumes. So this Baby accomplice won't be the bundle of wires we know today. It will be a costume worn by a human performer. Was it just another person playing the baby clown role as part of the circus that Afton trusted? Or was it Afton's actual baby, Elizabeth? A little girl dressed as a clown helping her dad at his circus job by playing with other kids, making her more of an unknowing accomplice, like Vanessa is the reluctant follower for the Mimic. I think thematically it works really nicely and it explains the whole Baby name, but we just have no idea.
This shot is
how old
crazy.
is at any point in the story. So it's hard to say for sure that she'd have even been alive during 1979. Maybe that's another point of clarification that Scott will add for us in Secret of the Mimic. Or, you know, he'll just do another retcon and then gaslight us into thinking it was there the whole time.
That too.
There's also the chance that this is where Jackie / the Mimic comes into play, with their clown design being the premise for Baby later on. They were initially the accomplice learning from Afton, but later became the master, turning Vanessa into their own accomplice. But what do you guys think? I know that this one feels like a big swing, so I'd really love
Huge
to hear what
swing.
you think right now.
But it's always a huge swing. It's always a huge swing in a theory. But wow, that burp was very disgusting sounding. I'm sorry about that if you fucking heard that. Yeah, that's Game Theory FNAF, the Secret Afton Killer. If you guys want to see more game theories, make sure you guys hit the like button, comment down below, and I'll see y'all later. Peace out.